Hey y'all, so here's a video of a weave cap. That's what I call it. I don't know, some people may call it a quick weave, whatever, but it's a weave cap to me. Also, I wanted to show that most of the clients do have hair up underneath of the weaves, the caps and the sew-ins. Plenty of hair up underneath of them. She just came out of some knotless braids that she had in for a while, so her scalp has built up. Little dandruff, little dry, and she naturally has dry scalp and flaky dry scalp. So before I do anything, I always check the scalp and exfoliate. Here's the before. I wanted to show you guys the before, the scalp cleanse. Check it out. So I go in and I lift up the dandruff off the scalp. Scratch the scalp and I lift it up. I go all the way through. I normally go in 4 sections, but I don't know why today I just attacked it randomly. 4 sections is easier though. So yeah, you lift it up. I never ever want to just shampoo a head or a scalp with dandruff buildup just sitting on it. It's never going to come clean if you don't like lift it up prior to. So here I am just shampooing. Starting my blow dry process. Y'all see it, nice and clean. Hold up. Hold up. Nice good blowout. The better the blowout, the easier it is to comb through, the easier it is to style, the easier it is to braid. Uh-oh. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. Don't play with me. I do not do hair on no dirty scalp. I will take you back to the bowl and shampoo it again. Ooh, y'all see it?
Don't ask me, I'm just so fresh and so clean. Don't you think I'm so sexy? I'm just so fresh and so clean.
Here I am just parting for the leave out. She wants to part in the middle, so I'm just sectioning it off. My leave out, I braided down the leave out to separate it from the part that's going to be braided up. This is the way I do my braids. It always comes out flat. No lumps, no bumps, no humps, just a flat, smooth install. Now, the size of the braids depends on the density of the hair, of course. The hair is pretty thick, so I kind of take medium-sized parts. Make sure the braids is nice and flat. And I just do this over and over again until I'm finished braiding. You'll see the next braid how I connect it. And when you connect, you'll see like in a second, you'll see when you connect the braid, don't pull it. Like you don't want that tension on the nape of the neck. So just kind of connect it kind of loosely, tight, but not too tight where it's pulling. So right here where I connected it, you see I pulled it up, but not too tight because you don't want that tension on the nape of the neck. I've seen a couple people go bald that way on the back of the neck. It's not cute. You want to make sure you comb that hair out too as you plaiting down. You don't want no balled up hair in the plait. You want to keep the hair nice and smooth throughout the braid and at the tips. So I'm all finished. Here's the braid down. Nice and flat. And I'm just going to sew this last plait up. I sew it to the middle braid. Make sure it's sewed down good. You don't have to do all that. That's just me. I'm extra. Here's what it looked like after. That's the top. That's the leave out part that I was sectioning off in the beginning. Her middle part and then her two sides for the leave out. I leave out a little bit of edges too, just to make it look natural. I put Sandx paper underneath of my caps. To me, it's just more protective. It's definitely like super protective. There's no glue in your hair. It's very clean. It comes off easily. So it's just a preference. There's different ways to do a quick weave, different ways to do a weave cap. This is my way. I then sew around the perimeter. You have to feel the braids, feel where they are. And you sew down just all the way around the perimeter of the braids. Around the leave out, down and around the edges, around the nape of the neck, and down and back up, like in a full circle. See, I'm going down the front now, on the side, by the edges. Okay, still sewing around the nape of the neck area now, underneath the bottom of the braids. All done. I cut the remaining string off, thread rather. Now I'm cutting the excess Sandx paper from around the perimeter. All the Sandx paper that's going to be hanging out, you just cut that off. You be careful around the ear. You have to be super careful around the ear part. Like flip the ear down and put your hand over the ear before you start cutting the Sandx paper around the ear. Other side, same thing. Cutting off the excess Sandx paper. Be careful. You see my finger is holding that ear down. Cover up that ear. Continue to cut off the Sandx paper. And I cut off the extra cap that's hanging off there too, because I want to make sure everything is nice and flat. And I just glue it down, I fold it down, and I just glue it down nice and flat. It's a process. Don't skip no steps. It won't be cute. Now I'm blow drying that down. And bam, this is how it looks before I apply the weave. All sewed down around the perimeter. I just always make sure around the edges is flat. The edges of the cap, always feel it to make sure it's nice and flat before I put any hair on it. Now I measure the track to wherever I want to lay it at. I normally start up a little higher. I don't really lay the tracks too low down because for some reason the back of the neck always gets tangled up, and it's easy when they combing their hair out, it'll pop off. So I just start up higher. It prevents any tangling in the back of the neck. And you can't see it. Like, it's enough hair on it that it's covered. Like, you can never tell that it's a space back there. Track placement, that's a different video. You just figure it out as you go. But I'm going to do a different video on track placement. That matters also. Blow drying it. I'm just repeating the same thing over and over all the way up to the top until I'm finished laying all the tracks. Blow drying again. All done. All the tracks are laid. This is how it looks. I still have to cut that little piece off in the front. That's the remaining piece from the cap. I have to cut that off. Okay, so I cut it off and I unraveled those braids, the leave out braids, and that's how it looked before it's pressed out. All pressed out. Now it's almost blended in, not quite yet. About to cut. She wants a bob, middle part bob, so I'm about to cut now. Regular, just straight blunt cut, blunt all the way around, nothing extra, very simple, just blunt and even all the way around. I don't know what we talking about, but we be cracking up. Look at Keita, we be cracking up. Just checking my cut, making sure I got all the little pieces, making sure everything is nice and clean, nice and straight, nice and blunt, nice and even. Going around. Sorry, my arm is in the way. I'm still trying to figure out the freaking placement of the camera and all that stuff. I'm still trying to figure it out, so excuse my arm. You're gonna see it a few more times throughout this video. Look at that cut. Nice and straight. All hits, no misses. All right, cut all done. About to go in and do a bump. I come from an era of the bump. Growing up, we used to bump our hair, so that's what I call it. It's just a little bend in the hair. Just for a little bit of body. I don't really put no big bump inside of a bob. Just something small, just a small little bend. All depends on the client's preference. Some people don't even want a bump. They just want it straight. Just straight down. But I'm doing a bump. In sections. Almost done. Next section, same thing. Spray a little product. I use a little shining spray. I only spray just bare minimum, just one little squirt, and I squirt from afar. I don't want no greasy bob. It's not cute, no stiff greasy bob, so you got to make sure you spraying from afar. You want movement. You don't want to weigh it down with a bunch of sprays and stuff. Look at Keita. She thinks she cute. She knows she cute. Hitting the edges up. I use a couple different things for edges. I'm not really an edge control person. I typically use waxes or wax sticks. I'm not a fan of edge control, but to each his own. Alright, this is the other side. Going the other side now. All done. Little bob on the cap. Nothing major. Ooh, hey beautiful.